Okay, welcome back, everybody. From the last session, three of you
Yay.
have received a curse of insatiable hunger for horseflesh, which you've temporarily satiated by finding a dried haunch of horse meat at a uh, jerky purveyor in Mithril Hall. You haven't. I think. What was the longest time you've been without food? 3 days. 2 days.
2 days.
Two and
I
a
think.
half, I think.
Yeah, about 2.5. You've noticed that the first full day that you haven't eaten, nothing really happens. But afterwards, it sounds like you're starting to degress into exhaustion levels. So you haven't. Yeah, and I think you shall know that was exhaustion level 5, right? Is death.
Five or
So,
six, but yeah.
Figure that if you go a week without horse food for now, you're gonna die.
Not horse food, horse
As the
food.
food.
You're telling me that I can eat grains to survive?
You tried that already. You tried a certain whole number of things.
Tried the
Yep.
scotch. It didn't work.
The scotch was the biggest blow.
Anyways, well, we've got our source of food here, unless we want to wait a few days for the obsidian sales, but I don't think that's really worth it. I think we can move
I'm more
on.
curious as to why this is happening, and I want to see if we can find like a cleric in town to.
I'm
to
sure there's
see-
some type of temple quarter in Mithril Hall.
It doesn't. Even, I don't think
you
it has
could
to be
choose your
that.
deity, pretty much.
Just anyone with knowledge of that area might be able to give us some like understanding of what or the reasoning behind it.
That's probably the best way to move forward. We don't want to just say, hey, can you decurse me, and then strike someone else.
Yeah,
Although,
I wouldn't let us get away with such
I would
penalty
be-
again.
I would be.
Now that I remember.
I mean,
I
I
would
just
find that
don't want to have
entertaining.
any curses on me anymore, man.
That's
Well, that sounds like your
clinging to the
problem.
ground like a scared
Creek.
babe.
But think of the alliteration. Creek the many cursed.
There's no alliteration
I
there.
thought his
Creek
name
and
also started
curse.
with K.
It does start
It
with
does
a K.
Similar
start with K.
sound, okay?
Yeah.
That's not alliteration though.
Now, see, if you said something like creek, the continually
I go to the
cursed-
cleric
Who's the
hall.
bard here?
I go to the
Apparently.
cleric hall.
Yeah, I follow.
Any denomination in particular?
Probably
Not
one to
evil?
deal with nature.
That's probably a good idea.
Lathander is pretty big in Mithril Hall.
That sounds like a good idea then.
Do we really want to tell them we slew sacred griffins? That seems like a bad
Well, we're
idea.
defending
Well,
Sacred
ourselves.
to the barbarians.
Speaking not as a GM, but as a man of words and thoughts. What is sacred to one may be blasphemous to another.
Exactly.
I guess that's true.
Well, I guess we can ask around about the griffins and if they carry any curses or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
You're heading to the Church of Lysander then, or
Yep.
Lysander? Okay, it's a grand cathedral. There are many people, children, humans, dwarves, a couple elves, basking in the light of this stone abbey. It's shining light from the windows coming in, a glow on the altar of a strong human in golden armor with a warhammer and a shield. Various people in priestly robes walk around, some of them holding communion coins, others giving lecterns and saying prayers.
Does there look to be anyone in charge?
You would surmise that anybody that holds one of the sigils of Lathander, which there are plenty of,
Does there seem to be a
be
donation
like the
box?
authority here. There is an alms box near the front of the statue.
I'll walk up to it and then put in 5 gold.
Okay, clink, 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 clink. The gold pieces tend to seem to rest within a pile of more gold pieces inside.
Wow, people are decked here if they're donating gold.
Well,
It's
a
figured
city.
Mithril
it's-
Hall.
it's
a
coins.
mercantile.
It's in the name.
It is a
Coins.
mercantile.
It's in
That
the
and
game.
also, presumably, there's rules here, like in the rest of the commerce quarters, where they all get a share.
You may only donate gold. No silver allowed.
Is there a ring the bell for tide?
Ring the bell for service.
I'll walk up to
You can try
someone
to
who
bring-
looks like a priest and say, "Hello, good sir. May I have a moment of your time?"
Yes, good morning. What can the people of Lythander do for you?
I'm looking for information regarding a potential... How should I word it? Curse of
Hunger curse.
nature? The curse of the barbarians?
Well, curses we can deal with. If it's knowledge you seek about them, though, perhaps a druid or a historian in one of our archives might be better suited to help you. But if it's a curse, we should be able to remove it.
I'd like to know what it is first before we commit to anything. I
Yes,
don't
of
want
course.
anything bad to happen.
Well, the diagnosis is free if you just stay still with me for a moment.
Sounds
Certainly.
I have
He
to
pulls
pull
out a
up
Me
the-
security wand.
first.
good. Would it be better to have
No, because I'd rather him not scan someone like Creek and say, you seem to be cursed by birds, or ravens,
So
griffins,
many
and a
things.
Gios.
Yeah,
Let's.
I feel like knowing what every one of them is more important.
Let's find out what this one is first. I only have one STD. You have 3.
I have 2. Or no, wait. Yeah, I have 2.
Let's see here. Trying to see if I have a generic cleric.
I mean, just find
Generic
someone with a
cleric?
mace.
I think he means to make rolls.
Oh.
Okay.
Usually
I
they
think
have
I-
kind of
Yeah, they
cleric
got-
stat blocks.
He's kind of a juvenile cleric, but
Oh
let's
yeah,
see.
priest. There you go.
All right. He can study you and say some incantations. Says, yes, sir. It seems you have been indeed afflicted by a curse. How unsightly. I must imagine it's difficult to find horse flesh in this area.
We've managed. It
He
was a
mithril-
rough few days, but we've made a
Mithril Hall
deal.
and all.
Well, I won't. Nope. There's a priest-patient confidentiality here.
Is there any
Secret is
non-magical
safe with
way
me.
to get rid of these curses?
Death is, in all things, cures all.
Preferably
Well, except
one
for
that
death.
leaves me surviving.
Nothing natural. Perhaps you could wait it out, but some curses are extraordinarily long-lived, depending on the seriousness of the caster.
I curse thee for this terrible fate for only
I-
a few days at most.
I'm sorry.
It just doesn't have the same ring to it.
I wouldn't know much about the strength of this curse without more information. Where and how did you contract it?
We got it from some griffins.
Yes, we were
What was the
visiting
name of the place?
the Shining White, and we were beset upon by 4 griffins.
This is starting to make more sense, and the cleric will nod. Yes, there have been people who have come in here saying that the lands in the Shining White are magical, to say the least. Nobody has experienced your symptoms now, but my guess is that if somebody is powerful enough to enchant a whole area and have its creatures that's associated with that tribe some way deified by being there, it sounds like a truly divine intervention that has cursed you. This could last you your entire life if not broken.
So you're saying me some kind of god was really pissed at us for killing some griffins that attacked us?
It sounded more like they had blessed the land and the griffins were treated as minor deities, and by slaying them, we incurred the griffins as
Well,
a
he'll-
concept?
Well, the Uthgard barbarians worship primal deities, animals mostly. And if you're saying you were at the Griffin tribe's sacred lands and killed griffins on their sacred lands, whatever primal spirit that controls that area might have taken exception to that.
See what he's saying. I'm not saying this to him. We kill the god.
Of course.
Yes, angering the barbarians even further will surely be our upcoming.
Well, then they don't have any,
They
holy
don't have a
power.
divine leg to stand
You're right.
on.
They simply have their godly muscles, and I start to just drool a little bit,
And,
and then I
divine
shake my head and
paths.
go, "They'd still hurt quite a bit."
Godly muscles.
Moving on. Do you think this would be something that would be possible to be broken, or is there some special way to do so?
Well, I think a remove curse spell should be able to dispel it. Have you tried that already?
We're kind of low
Not
on
yet,
funds at
we've-
the moment.
We're
At
not
least
low on
I am.
funds, it's just we had more pressing matters of satiating the hunger.
I see.
But I would be willing to donate for a remove curse. The only unfortunate bit is, and I will fill him in on the rest of the party's issues.
So the Gias
Yes,
Yeah,
and the
Raven.
Raven curse on
creates aversion to flight.
that one we can deal with on our own, I
He's-
think.
He's going to sigh and say, "I really don't have the power to remove so much.
That's what we figured.
You're gonna have to find one of our champions, or maybe the Grand Abbot if he's around."
On the plus side, I only have this horse meat curse. How much?
The remove curse services are 100 gold.
I can foot that bill. I'd be willing to
I
even
don't
put in
have money
another
for that
extra
anyway.
10 gold to the alms.
I spent all my money getting into the city.
You sure you didn't spend all your money on that? And if he has a flask like at his hip, I sort of just eye that.
Let's see.
Hey,
here.
that's liquid gold.
No,
you
I mean
implying that I sell my
he spends all
potions?
of his money on alcohol too.
Hey.
Actually, I've not spent very much on alcohol. I found most of it.
Well, the cleric will say, "Allow me
I was just expecting him to
6
throw
seconds."
his hand on my forehead and just go remove,
Yeah,
and then I explode.
he's going to go to the back of the church and come out with a scroll. And he will hold your forehead and whisper incantations as the scroll flares with a brilliant white light that goes from the scroll to his outstretched hand and onto your head.
Dear Lord, it's so bright.
He
I'm
says,
blind.
And he, oh dear. And he says, "You have been cured, sir. However, in the future, when you've had your curses removed, we could feel the other church of a deity has removed one previous. If you want, we could enroll you into a frequent decursors program."
Do I get some
You know,
discounts?
Do
all
I
the
get a
months we still
stamp
have left,
card?
That's not a terrible
It
idea.
is a 20 gold annual fee, and all remove curses are done at 75 gold pieces.
Done. I will hand him a sack of 20 gold.
He will return with
Does this work in all deities or just Lythander?
any Church of Lythander should recognize this.
Okay, that's fine.
He hands you a special sigil of Lythander. Like
Can I get a card too? Like a laminated card?
Yeah,
A stamp card.
Well, he'll hand you a sigil of Lythander with some etchings on it.
9 decurses and the 10th is free.
You come back next Sunday, you'll get a Sunday.
You have Sundays? Where do I enroll in this church?
Yeah. He'll say, hopefully you won't need to use that too often, but may the savings be with you.
We will.
This is so Mithril Hall, it hurts. Alright, thank you very much. Does this function as a party or just for me?
Oh no, this is just for you.
Great.
Got your name embedded in it. We know because you signed the paperwork.
Thank God I didn't say I was someone else. I don't say that to him.
Actually, Creek looks at her a little timidly and goes,
I don't
I
think
get
anyone
one of
else
those
has 20
too.
gold, and I'm pretty sure we're
"Oh
destitute
no, I
at
have
this
30.
point.
I have
We-
30 gold."
We really don't have very much funds.
Yeah,
I've
I'm-
got some money, but
We're
The
not
priest will say,
saying
I'm
this.
sorry, the program is only valid once you've received a decurse.
I see.
That's
the
understandable.
This
I
is the
got
way
like a little down.
funds.
Otherwise, you would have someone unscrupulous subscribe for 20 gold, get a 75 gold decurse, and they've saved 5 gold just right there. But anyways,
Gosh darn.
I don't need to worry about horse meat anymore, and I'll just kind of take the haunch I think I was holding and just throw it at Creek.
I'll
Are you
ask.
sure you want to do that? It's actually quite tasty.
I thought you said it was like very like musty and
it's an
It smells
acquired
musky
taste,
because
and
it's
you
been
have
dried,
acquired
but
it.
it's nutty and buttery and savory, a little mushroomy.
I mean, that
Meat.
might have just been the Griffin curse talking. I think I'm
Yes.
okay. I'll try anything once, but no more than that. Now quickly to the next new food before I starve.
Be a giant wheel of cheese in the distance.
No.
I've already tried that. I'm sorry.
It's a different cheese.
But I will ask about since I really don't have any kind of funds. Is there any way to like? This is a church of nature, right?
Lathander. Creativity, dawn, renewal, birth, athletics, spring, self-perfection, vitality, and youth.
Nah.
Also, they're very anti-undead.
Huh, I thought
Clearly,
that
what you
was
need to do is
Kellenborg.
just say that if they decurse you, you'll run a marathon in his
He's
name.
it's not a nature deity. He's like a fertility deity.
Well, my abilities probably wouldn't help here then.
Yeah, probably not.
Well, I'm fucked.
Same.
Yeah, but
You
you don't
just
have
got to
to-
make the horse meat last until we find more of it.
It's
You don't
always,
have
it doesn't
a-
hurt to
a
ask,
horrible
is there
price.
anything we could do for Lathander or for your church to get a meeting with one of your champions to see if we could decurse my friends here?
Sorry, we're pretty well set up here, but if you meet any wandering paladins with Lathander's sigil, you may be able to do something for them.
Well, we'll keep an eye out. Well, on the bright side, we've got, what, like 35 pounds left? If it's only going through 2 people, you could last probably a good 10 days or so. Like a
You got
pound
30
a day.
pounds. It took about 10 pounds because you were really hungry.
Mm-hmm. But what I'm saying is, we've reduced the usage by a third since I can eat
you-
like a
you could-
real human
You
now.
can figure if you are judicious in your eating, you probably have about probably
here's
go
the
through about
thing.
3 pounds of horse meat per day.
For both of them, right?
For-
I'm assuming.
Yeah, for the both of them.
Yeah.
So you got about 10 days worth of dried horse meat to work through.
I mean, we can always head further south. I think Tribor had a whole lot of horses. We could probably get one on the cheap.
Yeah, most of them are probably dead because of the giant attack.
Well, those are probably rotted by this point, but
Well, it didn't specify.
here's the
fresh
question.
horse.
I take a tiny sliver of the
disgusting.
horse meat and put it on a fancy nobleman's cracker and hand it to Creek. Maybe if you garnish food with horse.
Take a bite.
Well, the horse meat tastes good, but there's literally like ash forming inside of your mouth now, and like.
Oh.
Okay, well, had to try. How about a stew?
No, I'm just gonna stop you right there, buddy boy.
Anyways,
Not gonna fly.
I think we're done at Mithril Hall at this
No,
point.
I'm pretty sure we're going to be flying some more, Creek. We've got places.
You wish we weren't flying, but
I do.
I mean, I guess what we can do is just kind of fly, and if, our more survival-inclined members could keep an eye out for any horses, we could always go hunting as well.
Fair
Yep.
enough.
I'm not sure how many we'll find in, say, the Evermoors, but you never know.
One thing I will mention to you because you haven't thought of it yet, and I think characters at your state would have in a story. You are being ferried around by a full crew of dragon cultists
Thought we consulted them.
about the curse.
Yeah, we don't know about
Yeah,
horses. Yeah. You're like, hey, do you know where we could get horses on the cheap?
For the hookup.
Are you asking that now?
Yeah, like, I unless people have other things to do in Mithril Hall, I am
Yeah,
fine
no,
with
I
going
have
back
no
and
more
heading
business.
out.
You're
I'll
asking
make sure
the
to collect
cultists
my
about
weapons and all that.
horses.
Yes.
They will nod and they say, "Ah, you too favor the food of the great." Well, what's the dragon's name?
Wait, what's the dragon's name? The one in
Oh,
Nature?
The
God.
cultists start shuffling among each
What's
other.
the name of our god?
What's the name of our deity?
The Great One. Just call it the Great One.
Clouth. They say, "Ah, yes, Clouth kills many a number of horses in his fertile valley. It's one of his favorite foods."
So do you know where we could find some then in this area? Because we're not near the Fertile Valley, and I'm pretty sure Clouth would not appreciate us.
You want to eat the horses?
We
Yes.
have to eat the horses.
Oh,
No, we have to eat the horse.
Oh.
That's true. They
Uh.
have to eat the horses.
well, I mean, I guess we could see from the airship if there's any horses, and we'll shoot at one with a ballista.
That might be a bit
That
unnecessary,
sounds
but
fun. Can I shoot the ballista?
No, and like your hands go to the ballista, and they like slap your hands. Out. Like, stop, bad hunter.
Fine, I guess I'll just use my giant crossbow.
I mean, if the ballista is a bit too much, we could probably hunt and get some horses for supplies. Did they need to be alive?
No. If you wish for them to be alive, that's on your end, but
No,
they
no,
just...
no. We very much prefer if they were not alive and you ate them.
No, it's just when we were at the Shining White. Turns out you shouldn't kill the deific animal of the barbarians at their burial site. Who knew?
Next time we just need to knock them out.
Incapacitate
maybe.
them, I guess. Yeah, we'll see. That's
They're
just...
gonna say, "Well, look, we're just here to follow the orders of our god. You do whatever you want."
Well, okay then. Let's take us to the next location and get us horses if you could. It'd be very appreciated.
Do they need to be pretty horses?
Sure.
We're going to eat them.
Very well. And they'll make like a little supply list check mark that just says horses.
With the question mark.
Yeah, exactly. Like underline question mark, frowny face.
Why would it be frowny
Poop
face?
emoji.
I figured you'd appreciate eating
Poop
horses.
No,
Yeah,
thinking emoji.
They'll try to resupply with horses to fit your appetite, whenever they can.
Well, it is literally all these two can eat, so we've probably got about 3 months or so before they die of gout.
Did you look
So,
up if horses are bad for gout?
no, I'm just saying eating red meat.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I mean, it's probably going to be scurvy more than anything else, but I think there are sources of vitamin C in animals. I forget.
Oh, I see what you mean, because they're on a pure red meat diet. Yeah, fair enough.
Like, straight up, they're going to die of malnutrition.
Yeah, business concluded. Where would you like to go?
All right, we were kind of interrupted from our previous path, so we are currently at...
Weren't we gonna head for Flint Rock?
We were, but that was to the south of Shining White. We're now kind of north of Silvery Moon. It might be better to just go to One Stone and Barun as well. Work our way around.
That's
I mean,
true.
are we going to get every single artifact or what?
I mean,
Why not?
I mean, 2 reasons I think that we should. One, we're kind of low on assets, so getting anything that we might like that might.
I don't know. We kind of had to sell some of our assets to get one of them anyways. It's a possibility that... I think we should just do One Stone and Barun as well, and then go back to the Eye. We'll have 6 at that point, which is half. We can see what we have. We're essentially going after each of the Giant Lords, right?
Yeah. Well,
Going after
the
a Giant Lord.
The Oracle said just bring the items, and then she'll tell you more about the Giant Lord.
So, I think at this point it'd be best to just move on, unless we really want to go to all of them. But it seems like every time we do, some other horrific thing happens, so perhaps we should keep it on the down low.
You bring up that voice clip. When will you learn that your actions have consequences?
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, Bugbear? Unless you want to be a curse trainer and catch 'em all.
Gotta curse them all. Gotta curse them all.
How about we make our way to One Stone and Barun as well, and just from that point, figure out if we do feel confident enough to go back.
I'm
to
fine with that as
Oracle.
well, yeah. If nothing happens, we can keep going. If we get cursed twice more or thrice more somehow, we can just go to the Eye.
Yep.
So I think, rather than thinking this thing too far, we're gonna just head course for One Stone.
One stone, eh?
Yes.
One stone, 2 stone, red stone, blue stone.
I mean, actually, we were just at the Shining White. Flint Rock is the other one. Flint
Yeah.
Rock's actually closer than One Stone, if I'm reading this right, somehow.
Yeah, that's why I thought we'd go there first.
I figured we were closer. Like, this is kind of nutty, honestly. Am I mismeasuring? Let me ask this as a meta-ish thing. Which would be better on you if we went towards Flint Rock or One Stone?
Remember, you're at Mithril Hall.
Oh, I think we kind of got
Yeah.
shoved a bit.
Oh yeah.
It's 20 miles is probably like an hour in the airship.
Depending on the winds, which are blowing
Sure enough.
east to west right now.
So it would be a little faster to go to one stone.
Again, I posit it towards.
No, if the winds are blowing east to west, we'd be going against
Oh,
the
east to
winds.
west.
Yeah, we want to go to
For some
Flint
reason,
Rock.
I
So-
just read that as this and that away.
Yeah, so Flint Rock may be faster since the winds are at least somewhat blowing in that direction.
Somewhat blowing in that direction, and also we wouldn't be going against the headwind. I think we go Flint Rock.
All right, yeah, I can get behind that.
To one. Wait. There's the map. To Flint Rock.
I just imagine you holding the map and then I have to pick it up and turn it around. And go, Flint Rock!
To Court Neuf.
Let me go find handy dandy Flint Rock.
Or do you think we should go to Enots No?
Ah, here it is.
Maybe we should ask about, like, the tribes themselves next time we're in a bastion of civilization like Mithril Hall. Do we know what Flint Rock, like, which tribe it belonged to?
probably
You're
should
already in
ask
the
if we can
airship,
patch
so
it.
I would roll a history.
Sure.
I would have also thought, just realized I should have asked about the if incapacitating them rather than killing them does anything, or if it's just hurting them.
It
Let's
was
see
once
here.
they had fell that we felt bad, so I think we just say those magic words.
Have
Marat.
we rested at all since?
Yes, you're full rested because you went to
Okay.
Mithril Hall
And we
all
got the
that.
food and all that.
yeah,
That's actually a good point.
and you're on the airship for like a
while
day.
we were unable to eat, were we able to feel fully rested, or were we
Yes.
slowly? Okay,
you could heal.
okay, so it
In
wasn't
fact,
so
Al drank the healing
debilitating.
potion and was able to absorb its healing power.
Yep.
I'm just thinking sometimes when you don't have food during a full
Also-
rest, they're like, "Hey, you don't get anything back because."
Do we have exhaustion still?
No,
That's a
you're
fair
able
point.
to eat and rest.
Okay. Should we be limited to like a tiny cube of sight?
Can you see everything?
No.
Yeah, because right now everything here is shrouded in fog.
Ah, okay.
Interesting.
Marati,
Ugh.
you know that Flint Rock is the gravesite of the Unthgard tribe of the Elk.
Oh fuck.
Don't kill any elk. If you see an elk, you leave it be.
If
Do
you,
your best to not anger or maim or mangle any elk.
Around
This has
elk,
been a
watch your
public service
calc.
announcement.
Damn it, you've run to the horse tribe. What?
Yes.
No, this is definitely the Elk, though.
Clearly, at that point, we just start screaming, "We are from the Griffin tribe," as we start eating them
Ooga
alive.
booga. You're in a bit of a meadow right now. It's all grassy, but
Can I
the
make a
fog
survival?
is very soupy and thick.
To see if I can find any kind of elk tracks.
So currently, it seems like Creek has a
Roll
60-foot.
survival at disadvantage because the ground is wet and there's fog.
Yeah, Creek has a 60-foot range, and I have like a 10,
12.
maybe 20.
Yeah, you could
do I
see.
have a better
Makes
visibility
sense.
because of dark vision, or
It's fog.
I know, but like, why would I have a better vision?
Oh yeah,
than
that
anyone
is
else?
why you actually have a better vision.
See in dim light within 60 feet of you as if it were in bright light, and in darkness if it were in dim light. So the question is fog considered dim light?
Well,
Which
light is somewhat cut off, so to speak.
I'm asking Will.
I know. I'm just saying.
For practical purposes, it's not a magic fog, so I would say that you're basically in nighttime conditions.
All right,
Okay, so he'll
that
keep
means
that
the dark
big.
vision
Okay.
is in full swing. Got it.
Just wanted to be sure.
You should have sight appropriate to your dark vision.
And I believe I do. Let me just zoom into.
Yeah, you're
be
at
absolutely
60
sure.
feet.
Cool.
My God,
So,
I think I found something. Giant numbers born into the ground.
It says 50 feet.
What could it mean?
I don't know, man. I'm not paid to think about this stuff. All right. So I guess we just sort of start venturing east.
Did you ever answer if I could find or see any kind of elk tracks?
Oh, hard to tell. There seems to be evidence of wildlife, but nothing like small animals, maybe some medium animals. You see hoof prints, but you can't be sure if they're elk or
Can I give
some
it a
other
shot?
animal.
Now be careful, everyone. Elk are
Yeah,
very
roll
stealthy.
disadvantage.
All right, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't get much else out of that. I'm guessing.
Freaks,
God damn it.
What
Yep.
happened?
I rolled
Ooh.
survival
go.
and I got a 2 and a 20.
Ooh.
Now be careful, everyone. Where did you all go? For the love of God, don't leave me behind.
I thought that might work. I drew a dynamic light layer so that you can't see past that.
Nice.
Come back to the light. Stop it, Mateus. You're making me turn you inside out.
Okay, we're supposed to be on that side.
Yes, do not cross the invisible line of darkness and doom.
Darkness.
I mean, you wouldn't know what it is until you crossed it, but, you know.
Yeah. Do we know anything about what the Flint Rock, with that history, like what its design is? Like the others were,
Hello.
things in a hill or, an altar surrounded by menhir.
As you were traveling, the airship cultists will say, I think, because I've been studying, there should be, it's like another burial site. There'd be an altar in here, but we can't see it because of the fog.
No worries. Well, so
Is this
far
like
we're
a
kind of...
depression in the.
The rise,
Ground?
actually. You just went down a couple of feet.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, so far we've had kind of 3 for 3 at the altar. I think we should make our way there first.
Makes sense.
I think I found it.
Okay, where are you north? Oh, I
Yep.
see the bit of you. I see more words!
Men here. Damn, we're looking for a men here.
Men here, get your men
Look,
here.
trail sign. Let me see if there's anything that describes the men here. It seems that these mounds are created from piles of heaped rock, barren of plant growth.
I'm gonna stop right here.
Oh, that's good because it sees you too.
Hmm.
Approaching from the mist.
Yeah, but I told you they were very stealthy.
Elk.
Before we
Its
go into.
girlfriend.
Before we go into.
Elkina.
God damn it, guys! For fuck's sake. Before we go into any kind of combat, I'm gonna try to.
I'm sorry,
animal
not your
handle.
combat.
Someone said howitzer.
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
I'm gonna try animal handling to make it so that they don't try to attack us.
Okay, they weren't really threatening; they were just grazing on grass. But go ahead.
Yes.
Did we just get an animal companion?
Doo-doo-doo.
Finally, Ron does a ranger thing.
Also, I can't wait to hit level 7 and
What are
I
you
can
talking
get...
about? I survival and drink. What else do you
They're
have to do to be a
wild
ranger?
animals, but you can tell their intentions are benign. They're not really aggressive.
All right.
You with that kind of a role, animal handling is for domesticated animals specifically, but you can intuit what their intentions are, even if they're not domesticated. But yes, they're very peaceful elk. They seem to just be grazing at the altars.
All right.
One will look at you and bleat.
As elk tend to do.
What do I know about an elk's diet?
You see it eating grass.
Well, I'm gonna move on. Hello.
Yes, you see an altar. A rectangular slab of stone, 10 feet long, 6 feet wide, and 3 feet tall. Its surface is worn smooth by time. The enormous basin surrounding the altar mound is... Oh, I see. Never mind that.
Well, gee.
But yeah, you see the altar.
Well, I'll tell everyone else that I found it.
Well, we can see it. We're right in front of it. If it's that.
Uh,
So what? It's just a big sort of slab, I guess.
Yep.
There's no like signs of crevices that would be for
No.
opening.
Unlike the other ones, this one looks largely undisturbed.
This can't be what we're looking for. Every other altar has been desecrated and smashed open. This is not an altar. This is just a
yep,
mound of
let's just
marble.
move on.
You know, well, with your investigation, you know that it's very heavy, but it doesn't. But it seems like multiple people could band together to lift it.
Yeah, there may be something underneath it.
Whoops, that was supposed to be a disadvantage.
It's
the
fine. I'll take the
15
15.
Anything more
yeah.
out of that?
No, not really. Although you can probably surmise that with Aura View, you may not have enough strength.
Big, but it's too big for us.
I really wish
How
enhanceability
how
didn't
tall
just
is this?
give advantage
It
on
is.
strength checks. Or actually, question. With Bull's strength and enhanceability, it gives advantage on strength check, but it also doubles carrying capacity. Would that?
I see what you mean. The wording in the book is very specific to require a certain amount of people.
Gotcha.
That's as much
Okay.
information outside of the game that I'm willing to divulge.
Mm-hmm.
Fair
That's
enough.
fair.
Enough, yes.
But yeah,
How,
but that'll dispel any more guesses about the strength. Like, does a barbarian that rages count as 2 people, kind of thing?
Mhm.
How big
It's
is
3
it,
feet
though?
tall, by the
3
way.
3 feet tall?
Okay.
10
Well,
feet
it
long,
says-
6 feet wide, 3 feet tall.
It says
This is
so many
long.
people, but we could make ourselves larger. You think?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I feel silly. I'll go ahead and I'll cast Levitate on the altar.
Does that work? You madman.
Let's find out. Is way more than 500 pounds.
So it's really long, but not very tall.
As far as you can see.
I see what you're getting at, Maradi. We can crack it in half and you can levitate a piece of it.
I was just thinking, why don't we use some rope to try and
Yeah.
That's the thing,
How,
do
how
we
much
have to-
does rope carry again?
Do we have to lift or do we have to slide?
You're not quite sure. There could be much more altar underneath the ground.
The problem
It's
is
an
with trying to
iceberg.
do Levitate again is that was a 1-a-day thing from the weight.
Ah, I see.
But at least you know it now weighs more than 500 pounds.
That's true.
Yep.
We do have those potions of dubious quality that were promised to make ourselves larger.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, maybe larger hands might help more.
You want to try one of the potions?
Maybe one of the people who won't possibly vomit it up would want to try it before.
I'm pretty
Those
sure
people don't
magic
have-
potions were able to heal you. Magic potions should be able to do other things.
Well, yeah, but we don't know if they're magical, and if they aren't, they could just be. It tastes like bile to me.
We did buy
Well,
like
wait,
10 of
if-
them, didn't
if-
we?
Hold on.
Yes,
if
you
they're
have
not
10 of them.
magical, then hold on. So if they're not going to magically make us bigger, then we would know that by the fact that they don't work on either of you. And I point to him and Greek.
Really, it's kind of a win-win. We either become large and you can stomach it, or you can't stomach it, and that means they wouldn't have done anything anyways. Because
Exactly.
there's not really a non-magical way to make yourself 8 times larger. Believe me,
That-
I've checked.
And I think
no
if
special
one of us
pills or
were to grow
something?
in size, Creek would benefit more than myself. And I flex, showing my very thin arms.
Fine, I'll take one and just down it.
Going crazy? I think I'm going crazy. Because I thought I specifically told you that it requires a specific amount of people. And I thought that would dispel any notion that you would try to finagle it by saying, oh, let's just make ourselves larger.
Right.
Fair enough. I think the thought process was that a larger
You just
person
did
might.
the exact same thing I told you you probably wouldn't do.
Yeah, no, pretty
Like,
much.
well, I believe the
Yeah.
example used was rage, but the logic flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we keep looking around?
Do we want to maybe grab the cultists?
I think they were gonna kind of stay pretty hands off. They're just flying us around.
That's true.
I mean,
But I mean, what's the alternative? Hiring someone from Mithril Hall?
Or
we convinced the elk to help us.
I mean, digging seems like a viable option.
That's true. Although,
I'm not convinced of that, but I'm gonna keep looking. I want to keep.
Let's
Poking
take a good long look at the area first. Maybe there's something we're missing, because we've only covered probably like a third of this area.
true.
All right.
Let's keep exploring then.
Well, you guys do that, because I have no sight range here. I'll just stay at the altar.
Well, it's best that if we do run into any kind of trouble, we stick
We should stick together.
Bone piles or rock piles. Lots of rock piles.
They're cairns.
Yep.
You've seen them before.
He has a
Fact,
very
as we-
bad
like,
If you
memory.
keep going, you may find that it also says, "Oops."
Oh,
Oh god, he's a monster.
what is happening
Oh
to him?
no!
Ah!
He's incurred the wrath. Pray that you don't contract it as well.
Did I just fly forward and just kind of start? What's that glitch where the character gets stuck in something and just starts spinning and like
You just started expanding at great
Your
lengths.
your model gets
Noodling.
contoured to a different
No.
rigging.
It's just a common animation process. You're just between frames.
right? Also, I think I'm a different size than everyone else afterwards now. Yeah, I'm definitely thinner
Man,
now.
let's- When will they learn?
I've been animeified. Bow down before me, tiny mortals.
Hey,
More
again.
men here.
There you go. Yeah, but you've basically seen all that all that you can
Oh,
see.
Okay.
it's in the shape of an elk. I see.
Yeah, that's what I
On
was
her
saying.
forehead.
Oh, hi, elk.
The shape of it on her forehead. Good, funny joke.
I know, I'm the best.
And they don't stop caring, and they don't stop caring.
Well, I
Ruined
mean, if we don't
It wasn't
find
funny,
anyone,
then you ruined it.
and then
Yeah.
just kind of call out, "Hello, is anyone here?" Just in case they're somewhere in the fog and following us.
No answer.
All right. Well, I mean, our only other option is to
How-
ask one of the cultists.
Tall of
Shadow Clue Jutsu.
Like, how high up is this is the center of the elk compared to the stuff around it?
About 10 feet.
Hmm.
I mean, if you guys really want me to, I could pump 6 shatters into the altar.
I
That
don't
might
think,
end badly.
I don't think that's going to end well, I'll say that.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have a way to, spontaneously divide and asexually reproduce, right, Creek? I think I remember bugbears doing
unfortunately,
that.
Budding?
I unfortunately dropped out of ninja school before we learned the Shadow Clone Jutsu.
Fucking weeb.
I mean, you are the one that asked.
I asked if he could asexually reproduce, not fucking clone
You said
himself with
duplicate and
Naruto.
asexually reproduce. Anyway,
Either way,
Yeah. Let's go back to the cultists.
the ship.
Okay, you can return to the airship, and the cultist leader is saying, "Where to next?"
Well, first, would any of you be willing or able to help us move an altar? We seem to have not enough people.
Not really their job description, but I'm assuming you're kind of invested in this altar, aren't you?
Yep.
Little bit. We're 3 for 3 for finding what we're looking for under or in the altars, and so if we can do this without smashing it, it's probably better for our curse record.
Very well. How many people do you need?
Good question.
Great question.
More than 4.
can I make an
The
in
stone
check to see?
apparently weighs
Oddly
more than 500 pounds.
specific.
I kind of glance at the 3 people next to me and then down at myself.
Sorry, 2 people next to you. If we're not about to fly somewhere else, Creek is staying firmly on the ground.
Well, at
Big
least
on
he's
terraforming.
consistent with his RP.
I know
Well-
at the very least that it's over 500 pounds. So the
They'll,
more, the better.
I'll say, I mean, how about 5 of us? Think 5 of us could work?
With the 4 of us,
Is that
with
5 total
the
or 5
4 of
assisting
us.
more?
5 of us coming with you.
I'm
Yeah.
not on the ship. I thought it was like a crew of like 3 or 4.
The crew? There are 8 of them.
Oh, okay.
5 should do, I think. I mean, with us 4, that's 9.
I don't know. 9's a very odd number. Something tells me it's either going to be 8 or 10. Just, my personal views.
You've
That's
always been
oddly specific
superstitious
as
about
well.
that.
Nature loves an even number.
Let's just try with 5.
Okay, everybody roll me a strength check to try to move this thing.
yeah.
So now we should make ourselves bigger.
I inspire myself.
Yeah, I'm pretty inspired too.
Oof.
Wow, we are garbage at this. Yeah, I
Ouch.
guess we're all...
Yeah, that's an inspiration.
Ah!
Wow.
At least he gets to keep the 6.
That's
Literally
not very
nobody is able to get a good grip on this thing.
I got a
what is this,
16.
moss covered?
Yeah, what, 14?
No, none of them are able to lift it. They'll say, we should try again. Let's try again. But I think we got a bad grip.
Okay.
No.
Oh my god.
What the?
5. Yes. Even better. We are the
Ba-dum-bum.
best at strength.
Did any of them get a good grip?
Wow.
No.
Were we all single digits?
All the 4 of you, slip around on the moss. The cultists are going to shake their heads and say, I'm 3. And they're all going to lift up nearly 1,000 pounds of rock. You
No,
all feel
we're just-
immensely emasculated.
All we're doing is holding our hands on top like those people
Yeah.
who are trying
You're
to
like,
contribute.
we're helping, right?
And they're like, yeah, sure you are, buddy.
And I think in my case with my nat 1, I'm actively pushing down.
Yeah. You're like on
Oh.
top of it, trying to lift from the bottom, from the top.
Oh, you said push?
You guys are wow.
Yeah,
But anyways,
Oh wait, it was a strength save. Mine would have been a 12.
oh, well. That's a fair enough point. I was just clicking where I saw strength.
Yeah.
So I think that last one should have been a 0 then.
But I thought it only really mattered if you had proficiency in the
Well-
saves, right?
We should all probably be at the altar on the map.
I do have proficiency in
So the
strength saves.
cultists are able to shove this thing off its ground to show a lot softer earth underneath. I'm gonna say, did we do what we needed to do? Because we want to go back to the ship.
Yes,
I believe so, yes. Thank
We'll
you.
go back to our lifting and other strength-based exercises that make us stronger.
I mean, they're on an airship. I feel like lifting should come easy.
They start making their shakes and eating their oats.
Creatine,
Massive gains.
Whey
carboloadin.
powder.
But yeah, I mean, what were we looking for here? I don't think we ever actually confirmed that with each other.
Turns out we were looking for a giant rock.
Yeah, let's go take this 1,000-pound altar.
We were looking for people who actually could do strength.
Yeah, you moved it. I mean, it's up there now.
Well, what did Harshnag tell us was here? I don't think we ever actually...
You're
like,
looking
we know
for a
that, but...
mithril spear tip.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'll jump into the hole and start kind of digging around, seeing if there's anything
the
under
hole.
the altar. How deep
Oh,
is
go
the
down
hole before
the
I jump
hole.
down?
It's not very deep. It's more like
Depression.
yeah, it's just a depression. It seems like that altar itself wasn't very.
I
deep
start
inside.
listening to Linkin Park in the hole.
We gotta break that habit, like, tonight.
Well, should I roll like an investigation or perception for the digging?
Yeah. Start rooting around there.
All right.
Is that
I'd like to follow suit because I want to get into that dirt.
Investigation, not perception.
Oh.
Use your hands.
Investigation.
If it's a
Thank you,
investigation, that would be a 10.
You all start rooting around the dirt. I don't know if you're using tools or anything, but it just makes me think that you're like a sandbox. Just go.
Yeah, that's me. I can
Crick,
get it.
however, extends his extendo arms into the ground and goes.
Yeah, I think
"Oh,
he just kind of like
yeah, I
shoves
think I
his
put my
arm in
hand on
there.
something," and he'll pull up the remains of a mithril spearhead.
Good job, Tonka Truck.
Hog, hog.
Yeah, it makes one of those noises that those grabbing machines make. The claw machines.
He starts bringing it up, but his fingers open up.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, do I feel anything? Is it
Is it magical?
Blech. Talking, I can do that.
It is faintly magical.
Okay.
All
Something
right.
tells me we'd have to put it on a spearhead or a spear to get any magic out of it, but
Well, I mean, actually, can I find a suitably sized stick for this spearhead to be put on top of?
let's
Do you know
wait.
how blacksmithing works?
Let's
No.
And have you
wait.
noticed any trees in the area?
No.
For the love of God, let's not put things into other things without confirming what they do first.
Or consent.
Although I guess I don't know about what happened. I mean, that is very true.
All right.
But-
But yeah, back to. Can I still attune to the spearhead, or does it need to be a spear?
You don't even know if it needs to be attuned.
we
Find
don't-
out what it does first.
Could I
But-
do like some sort of arcane on it or
Don't you know
skill
identify?
check?
Yeah, go ahead, roll Arcana.
All right. Yay!
Hey. Can we just call it the spear of 20s?
It is definitely emanating a divination aura.
Divination.
However, it seems that any kind of practical magic on it has long since faded.
Okay, so that's fine. But yes, a thought occurs. We've run into every single type of creature at the altar they are deified to, so we can prep in advance. It's not even like special versions. I think we just got attacked by the griffins because they're territorial creatures.
Yeah.
So if we know
And then
what's
the
at, say,
raven
the
or whatever was just
watching us and
Exactly.
stealing stuff. So if we go to Grandfather Tree and we hear it's like snakes
Populated by grandfathers.
or
Or
or trees,
Yeah.
my money's on
really
death.
angry
Honey.
owls.
I could see maybe a treant or
Creeper vines.
some type of bird, but we can do that research on our way there. And so
Sure.
we'll head back and say, we found what we were looking for. Thank you for the assistance. We're on to Great Tree, or Grandfather Tree.
Grandpapa tree. Let me go and copy you all again. I hope the elf don't come with you.
I don't know. If we can get, 3,390, I could have dominated both of them. That's a good thing to do, right?
Okay. Let me check on the map how far you have to go.
Sure. It was a fair bit, I believe, if I was seeing it correctly. We're essentially crossing Everland and then into the forest.
Ba-ba-ba-da-ba.
I mean, worst comes
You
to
are
worst,
no
we
longer
might be able to
Grandpa.
we might be able to stop by Yarder. It's pretty close by, although if I remember, Yarder was just kind of an inn.
About 200 miles. It'll take about 3 days by airship.
Okay.
And if your horse lust isn't sated yet, hunger.
Oh, good God.
That would be about half of your horse supplies.
All right, fess up, everyone. No judgment, but I want to know who it is and get them out of this party.
Wait. But we were all down here.
What?
Admittedly, my connection kind of dotted for a second, but
I think we're traveling without really having to go to the map. He's just kind of telling us it's 200 miles, 3 days. We have 5 horse days
I looked at
left.
the map, so
Yeah.
I did
And so we're going to Grandfather Tree. On the way. History.
Yes, indeed.
It's
You think
filled
it-
with grandfathers.
Yeah, you think it got its name from
Ugh.
grandfather. The retirement center.
Everyone knows that in the olden days they dumped their grandfathers in the woods.
Does Creek get anything with the 12?
There's grandfathers there.
Great grandfathers.
No, only
Oh.
okay grandfathers at best.
Interesting.
Oh no.
I need to read this a bit.
Well, if that's the case, it is 7:10. Should we save this for next time?
Yes, I think we should save this for next time.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
Can we at least get a hint of what we're seeing on the board first, or are we going to be completely in the dark? I take that as we're going to be completely in the dark.
I don't. Creek and Ron may be in for a trip,
Oh no.
What? Oh, no.
but I'm not sure.
Oh, dear.
Please,
The
no.
uncertainty is what should make you afraid.
No.
A field, a pile of horses.
Oh, you're gonna be wish there. You're gonna
Oh,
wish
God.
there were horses after this is done.
It's unicorns, isn't it?
Hippogriffs. They're only half horse.
Pegasi.
Now, wouldn't that
Anyways,
be
on
terrible,
that
though,
bit.
if one of the altars was like their animal was a horse, and so they start eating the horses, but they just get a new curse on top of their horse curse.
So they have to eat grass, but the griffin curse tells them not to, so they try and eat horse, but the horse curse tells them not to, and then they just explode.
Well,
Our
you're,
curse is like
Anyways.
you're all in
computer
for a bit of a
programs.
fun time, I think.
Grand.
Fun.
Well, we'll see what happens on Monday. Good night.
Good night, folks.